Power. Everyone wants it. Some seek it through money, some through fame, others through kindness and respect. But very few people truly understand what power is and how it works. More than 500 years ago, one man decided to reveal its secrets. His name was Niccolò Machiavelli. To some, he was a genius. To others, he was evil. Even today, when someone is called Machiavellian, it means they are cunning, calculating, and willing to do whatever it takes to achieve their goals. But who was this man? And why are his ideas still shaping politics, business, and human relationships centuries after his death? This is the story of the man who revealed the rules of power. Born in 1469 in the Italian city of Florence, Machiavelli entered a world of chaos. Italy was not one united country. It was divided into powerful city-states that constantly fought each other. Alliances changed overnight. Friends became enemies. Betrayal was common. Assassinations, conspiracies, and wars were simply part of everyday politics. Machiavelli grew up watching all of this. Unlike many philosophers who dreamed about how people should behave, he became fascinated by how people actually behave. He noticed something important. People often say one thing and do another. They promise loyalty, but betray each other. They speak about morality, but pursue their own interests. They praise honesty, but often reward strength and success. The world, he realized, was not driven by ideals. It was driven by power. As a young man, Machiavelli entered government service and quickly rose through the ranks. He became a diplomat and traveled across Europe, meeting kings, princes, military commanders, and political leaders. These experiences changed him forever. He saw rulers rise to greatness and fall into ruin. He witnessed courage, ambition, greed, and deception. And he began asking one question: why do some people gain power while others lose everything? Then came disaster. The government of Florence collapsed. Machiavelli lost his position, was accused of conspiracy, imprisoned, and tortured. Everything he had worked for disappeared. Suddenly, the man who had advised powerful leaders became powerless himself. Most people would have given up. Machiavelli did not. Instead, during his exile, he sat down and wrote a book that would make him one of the most controversial thinkers in history. That book was called The Prince. It was not a book about morality. It was not a book about kindness. It was a book about reality. Machiavelli looked at the world and decided to describe it exactly as he saw it, and his conclusions shocked everyone. One of his most famous ideas was this: people are generally selfish. Not always, not everyone, but when their interests are threatened, many people will put themselves first. According to Machiavelli, a leader who ignores this reality becomes vulnerable. He believed that successful rulers understand human nature instead of pretending it does not exist. Another shocking idea was his answer to a difficult question: is it better for a leader to be loved or feared? Machiavelli's answer became legendary. Ideally, a ruler should be both. But if he must choose, it is safer to be feared than loved. Why? Because love often depends on feelings, and feelings change. Fear, however, creates consequences. People may stop loving you, but they think twice before challenging someone they fear. This idea made many people think companies spend millions creating brands. Celebrities hire teams to shape their reputation. Even ordinary people carefully choose what they share online. Machiavelli would not be surprised. He understood centuries ago that perception itself is a form of power. He also believed that fortune plays an enormous role in life. Unexpected opportunities appear. Unexpected disasters strike. No one controls everything. However, Machiavelli rejected the idea that people are completely powerless. He argued that while fortune controls some events, courage and preparation determine how people respond. In his view, successful individuals are not those who avoid uncertainty. They are those who adapt to it. They understand when to be patient and when to act boldly. This ability to adjust to changing circumstances was one of his greatest principles. Because power is never permanent. Situations change. People change. The world changes. Those who refuse to adapt eventually lose everything. Perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of Machiavelli's philosophy is this: he was not teaching people to become evil, he was teaching them to become realistic. He believed there is often a dangerous gap between the world as it should be and the world as it actually is. Many leaders fail because they live entirely in ideals. They assume everyone will be honest. They assume promises will always be kept. They assume good intentions automatically produce good outcomes. Reality rarely works that way. Machiavelli encouraged people to see the world clearly, to understand ambition, to understand fear, to understand power. And whether we agree with him or not, history has repeatedly proven that these forces shape human behavior. That is why his ideas continue to survive. Political leaders study him. Business executives quote him, military strategists analyze him, psychologists discuss him. Even people who have never read his books often follow principles that sound remarkably Machiavellian, because beneath all the controversy lies a simple and uncomfortable truth. Power has rules. Human nature has patterns, and those who understand these patterns often possess an advantage over those who ignore them. More than 5 centuries after his death, Niccolò Machiavelli remains one of history's most debated thinkers. Some call him cynical, some call him dangerous, others call him one of the greatest observers of human nature who ever lived. But regardless of where you stand, one fact remains impossible to deny. Machiavelli forced humanity to look into a mirror and confront a reality that many people would rather avoid, and perhaps that is why Machiavelli still matters today. Because his ideas force us to ask uncomfortable questions. Do people follow kindness or strength? Do appearances shape reality? Can morality alone protect us in a world driven by ambition, competition, and You may agree with Machiavelli, or you may completely reject him. But once you understand his ideas, you begin to see power differently. You start noticing it in politics, in business, in friendships, and even in everyday life. Machiavelli did not give humanity easy answers. He gave us a lens, a way of seeing the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. And maybe that is why his name has survived for more than 5 centuries. Kings have fallen, empires have disappeared, entire civilizations have changed. Yet the questions Machiavelli asked are still with us, because human nature itself has changed very little. Power still attracts people. Fear still influences decisions. Reputation still shapes reality. And those who understand these forces often shape the world around them. So, was Machiavelli a dangerous cynic, or one of history's greatest observers of human nature? The answer is yours to decide. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into the minds of history's greatest thinkers, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next journey into the ideas that change the world.